Furiosa is an exposition story to the rebooted Mad Max film from 2015. We follow Furiosa's journey from young girl to young woman to fully grown Furiosa that we see in the 2015 film. While this film isn't purely the experience that the 2015 Mad Max film is known for, it has moments of that mixed in with grander statements on Wasteland and by extension our world. I feel like the three main characters of the film are Furiosa, Dementis, and the Wasteland itself. The Wasteland is a character because we get to see how it evolves as the story progresses. When we first visit Dementis, his forces are a loose collection of gangs. The level of organization is still in the primordial stages. Dementis has a cult of personality and everyone's value is based off of their relationship to Dementis. But Dementis' rule is far from concrete. A larger warlord could come along and consume him. After the few years Furiosa spends with Dementis, they stumble upon a much larger social organism, one centered around Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe might be brutal, but he is pushing society forward. He's creating sustainable systems for him and his cohort to thrive with, generating water, milk, food, and trading with Gastown and Bullet Farm. He now trades for what he needs instead of pillaging and scavenging like Dementis. The bartering is now an early form of capitalism. But Immortan Joe knows he needs to ingrain himself into the power through more than just a cult of personality. Immortan Joe creates a religion around himself. He has a logo for his following. He steals Valhalla as a heaven for his war boys to believe in, so they willingly throw themselves to their deaths. Dementis sees the system that Joe has created and begins his power grab. His initial attempt, which you could call a dumb person's idea of what a smart person would do, is rebuked. So Dementis decides to take a position within Joe's system of control and begins his slow plan to usurp Joe, which culminates in what the history man refers to as the 40 days of wasteland battle. I think what Miller is trying to illustrate to us by taking us through this process is that this is the natural ebb and flow of humanity. Now that we are in the wasteland, the cycle is accelerated. But we always go through this disparate gangs to larger formations with trading, specialization, culture, and religion, which then leads into a crescendo of war to knock it all down again. The history man sees this, but is powerless to stop it. The power-obsessed like Joe and Dementis can only see what's right in front of them, and how much power they have and what they can do to acquire more of it. They are social parasites on the social organism, and steer it towards destruction, a very fitting allegory to our lives today. Morality plays such little importance in how we choose our leaders.
All of this is caused by Dementis' lack of feeling satisfied. He would have stopped long ago if his only desire was to make himself comfortable. His lust for power is only for the sake of power. Dementis references the severe loss he has experienced in his past, which he uses to explain his altruism, but in reality it's what he uses to justify his brutality to himself. At the climax of the film, Dementis explains that the loss of his children has killed him already. He has let himself become a beast to rid himself of the pain of being a man. He has let his anger and hatred drive him to creating a negative impact on the world. Before his end, Dementis points out that the same anger and hatred is what is driving Furiosa. The climax of the film is a poignant moment and an acknowledgement of Furiosa's development. She starts as a kidnapped girl from an idyllic oasis to Furiosa torturing Dementis to death as a trained killer. We could say Furiosa was forced into this life, but I think she is a willing participant. At multiple points from a little girl to now, she could have let go and escaped home, but she chose to go back to be part of the wasteland. Since being a child reaching for the forbidden fruit, she has a thirst for adventure. As Jack states, she has a bloodthirsty killer in her, and he helps her shape it into a road warrior. Furiosa has followed a similar path compared to Dementis, where she too could choose to be a warlord, but instead evolves past pure anger to trying to better her world. She does get some enjoyment out of forcing Dementis to plant a tree for future generations, even though he will not get to enjoy its shade. And she does make it epic. Thanks for listening to my analysis of Furiosa. It would mean a lot if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you wouldn't mind supporting me on Patreon, it goes a long way to making more of these videos. Thank you.